Take a breath with me, not just a casual inhale, but a full conscious breath. Feel the air entering your body. Notice how it moves, how it softens the edge of your day, how it draws you inward. Now consider this. What if that breath isn't just keeping you alive? What if it's participating in an ancient cycle, a sacred exchange that mirrors the soul's own evolution? In this video, we'll explore cellular respiration, the biological process your body uses to create energy through a different lens, not just as science, not just as function, but as a living metaphor for transformation. Because deep within your cells, a story is unfolding every second. A story of surrender, combustion, release, and renewal. A story of becoming. And maybe, just maybe, understanding that story helps us understand ourselves. Let's begin. The foundation, why this matters. Before we break down what cellular respiration is, let's get clear on why it matters. You may not think about your cells often, but they are always thinking of you. Each cell in your body is alive. It breathes, it eats, it metabolizes, it communicates. And in order to do all of that, it needs energy. The process of cellular respiration is how your body turns food into usable energy. But this isn't just about metabolism, this is about life force. Because the energy that is created, called ATP, isn't just biological, it's what makes healing possible. It fuels your thoughts, your movements, your emotions. It is the currency of life. So understanding how energy is made in the body teaches us something sacred about how transformation happens in all things. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed, and so can you. The breath of the cell. Now let's get into the science gently. Cellular respiration is the process by which your cells convert glucose, sugar from food, and oxygen from your breath into ATP, the energy that powers every cellular function. It happens in three main stages: glycolysis, the Krebs cycle, also known as the citric acid cycle, the electron transport chain. Each of these steps reflect a kind of inner alchemy, a layered unfolding process, and it all begins with glucose, a simple sugar molecule. It holds energy, but that energy is locked inside. It must be broken down in order to be released. And isn't that how transformation often starts in life, with something breaking down and letting go and surrendering? This is the wisdom of the cell. Glycolysis, the first surrender. Glycolysis, the name sounds complex, but its meaning is simple. It means sugar splitting. This is the first step in cellular respiration. It happens in the cytoplasm of the cell, the watery space that holds and cushions all the internal parts. Here, glucose, your basic fuel, is split into two smaller molecules called pyruvate, and in the process, a small amount of energy is released, enough to create a few molecules of ATP. But more importantly, this is the beginning. It's a step of opening, of breakdown, of letting go, of form in order to step into a new function. Just like in our own lives, when something needs to be transformed, it must first be taken apart. So glycolysis is not just a metabolic stage, it's a symbol of surrender, of trusting the breakdown, of allowing the process to unfold. Because only by letting go of what glucose was can it become what it's meant to be, energy. The path of alchemy always begins with decomposition, and so it is in the cell. The Krebs cycle. After glucose has been broken down into pyruvate through glycolysis, it enters the mitochondria, often called the powerhouse of the cell. This is where the real transformation begins. The Krebs cycle, or the citric acid cycle, is a series of chemical reactions that strips electrons from what remains of the original glucose molecule. In the process, it produces small amounts of ATP and a lot of high-energy molecules, called NADH and FADH2. Think of these molecules as energy messengers, little carriers of potential, preparing for something greater. This part of the process is slow, rhythmic, and precise. Nothing is wasted. Each turn of the cycle reveals something essential, that transformation is not chaotic, it's patterned. In ancient traditions, transformation often happens in cycles, seasons, lunar phases, life, death, and rebirth. And so it is in the cell. In the Krebs cycle, carbon dioxide is released. What's no longer needed is exhaled, and what remains is distilled into energy-rich compounds, waiting for their next task. Spiritually, this phase teaches us that transformation is cyclical, intentional, and sacred. You don't have to rush the process. You don't have to understand every step. You just have to allow the cycle to complete. Each breath in is a beginning, each breath out a release, and in between, life unfolds. The electron transport chain. The final stage of the cellular respiration takes us deeper into the mitochondria, into its inner membrane. Here, the electron transport chain begins. This is where the real magic happens. The NADH and the FADH2 molecules hand off their electrons through a chain of proteins embedded in the membrane. As the electrons move through this chain, their energy is used to pump protons across the membrane, creating a gradient, a kind of energetic tension like a bow being drawn. And then, at just the right moment, the energy is released. The protons rush back through a specialized enzyme called ATP synthase, and in that moment, a spark occurs. ATP is created. This is a sacred movement of manifestation. It only happens because everything that came before, the breakdown in glycolysis, the refinement in the Krebs cycle, the buildup of potential in the electron transport chain, and finally the release. Just like in life, where every moment of growth is preceded by inner work, by tension, waiting, preparation, until the spark, the birth, the manifestation. This is energy made manifest. This is the divine turned practical. This is life saying yes, and all of it began with a breath. A spiritual summary. Let's take a step back. You now understand cellular respiration, not just as biochemical process, but as a living metaphor. Glycolysis, the breakdown, the surrender, Krebs cycle, the refinement, the spiral, the transformation, and the electron transport chain, the tension, the spark, the becoming. And all of it is powered by your breath. You breathe in oxygen, you eat food, your body transforms them through effort and intelligence into the energy that becomes you. Your laughter, your healing, your art, your service, your rest. All of it is supported by this invisible process. And what if that's the point? What if every unseen interior process of your life is sacred? What if your growth doesn't need to be public or loud to be real? What if the most powerful transformation you'll ever experience is happening quietly within? This is the mirror cellular respiration holds up. That life is always happening, that energy is always moving, that your body is not a machine but a living ritual. One that breathes, one that transforms, and one that remembers. Energy is a sacred currency. We often think of energy as something we lack. I'm tired, I need more energy. But what if energy is not just something we use, but something we honor? What if every time you take a breath, your body is offering you a gift, not just survival, but potential? The potential to move, to heal, to seek, to love. And what if your only job is to become a good steward of that energy? To use it intentionally, to rest when needed, to speak words that uplift, to release what no longer serves. Because just like the cell, your life is alchemical. You are always breathing an experience, breaking it down, transforming it, and turning it into action. You are always creating ATP, actions that transmit purpose. So as you leave this video, I invite you to breathe with reverence, eat with awareness, move with intention, and most of all, remember, the intelligence of the universe lives inside of you, and every breath is a sacred opportunity. Until next time, stay present, stay curious, and always listen to the wisdom within.